It's Misiak.
And today we're just going to talk about challenges, really. And in all honesty, we've been trying to record this podcast right here for weeks. Literally, it's funny. We wanted to talk about challenges. And it was a challenge just to find time, energy, motivation to do this. So it happens. So if you're sitting out there and you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't done anything, or, you feel like you're beating yourself up about not doing something, we are literally recording this podcast the day before it goes out. We don't do that. We try to record way ahead because we know life happens. We know challenges, come up and pop up. And as a parent, we just know that life just throws you unexpected things all the time. We have a strike, the teacher strike going on right now in Ontario. And there's, your kid can come home sick. And just so many different things moving. And what was the other thing I was thinking about? Just so many things can throw you off kilter.
Like you yourself could get sick. Never mind your kids getting sick.
No kidding.
Right? Oh yeah, I had that bout of that was that really bad food poisoning.
Oh yes,
remember that one time?
Yeah,
that threw us off too.
So life in general can be challenging, and then now as a parent have little ones, or like maybe they're not little anymore, but they're still your responsibility to take care of. And it can be, it can really, can really throw things up and, mix things up a lot. So, so if you're going through something right now, you're not alone. Like I said, we're literally recording this the day before. I think we tried before and I just wasn't in a good mood. Sometimes that happens too, where you're not in a good mood. And I know better now not to force through a bad mood, because I wouldn't have given you what I wanted to give. To this conversation.
Yeah, we try to come at this at our best, and if you're not at your best, you can't create your best. No. And so I mean that's so many things going on, and all these plates are spinning, and it is so about challenges and how to deal with the challenges. Actually, what was it? Do you mind if I share something that I started to do? I should have done this a lot sooner. So lately, there's been a lot of stuff. Like I said, we've got a lot of challenges at home. There's a lot of challenges at work. There's a lot of challenges just with you and me trying to find time for each other. So there's all these categories of your life, right? Like relationships, work, house, kids, part of relationships, pets, whatever. Your own self, which is what we try to promote a lot of, right, as well. So I was finding it really hard to manage all that, and especially because I like to keep things in my head. I've got an aversion to lists.
Yeah, you really don't like lists at all.
I've got to get over that.
And I love them.
Yes, I've got to get over that.
Because when they're out of my head, then I don't have to stress about it anymore.
Which is good. I don't think I make that divide. But so what I'm starting to do, or what I'm trying to do, is everyone's got to-do lists, right? Like these large, right? And there's your general to-do list that have all these things on them, like fix this or shop for that or whatever, pick up the kid, or right? That's that kind of stuff, right? And then there's other things that should go on the list too, like spend time with your significant other, spend time with your kids, like be present, take care of yourself. That's a big one that we always promote here on the podcast. And so it looks like a lot. What I've started to try and do is, okay, write it all down. I wrote down all these things that I think I need to get done, or that are on my mind, or whatever. And then I started sorting them into categories. There's relationships, there's like housework, there's finances, there's that kind of stuff. And then now that I've got them in these little buckets, I can go to these lists and go, okay, what do I need to do today? Or what can I do today? That's the other one too, right? It's like, okay, well, I need to do this today, or I can do this today. And it helped me also break down like the really big things, that are like, well, here's this really big thing I need to do. Like, I'm trying to think of a really good example off my list. I don't have them handy on me.
We know one was relationships, right?
Yeah,
because
okay,
of all this, the struggles and challenges that are just things that we're doing right now. Which will be revealing some of the things we're doing as time goes on with during the podcast. How not this episode, but future. However, our relationship can, get put to the backside when you're busy doing. It's like the kids are taken care of. Work, they pays the bills. Those things, and then the relationship can fall to the wayside.
Yeah. So what I did there was okay. And it was very small, but it took a lot off my mind. Is I asked Jody, I'm like, hey, do you think we can have like 30 minutes to about an hour sometime in the next few days to sit down and just talk about how we're feeling, how we're dealing with the challenges in our lives, to like really share and try and connect. Like, and of course, we scheduled it in to happen. And that really took a lot off of me mentally, and it felt really good to do that kind of thing. So it was very small, it was easy to do, and it sort of made a bunch of things that I thought I had to keep spinning or keep in the air just disappear. So that was really nice. Anyways, that's one of the things I've been doing to try and help with all the challenges that you, me, and everybody else is going through.
It's amazing actually how one little setback or one thing that can trip you up can actually it's a snowball effect. So, it's like we have something come up, like say the strike, and it's like, oh my goodness, now we're, trying to balance work and having, our daughter home and things like that. And then, it's another. And actually with this strike going on, if you're not in Ontario and you have no idea what's going on, it's not a full out strike. It's a rotating strike. So we had no idea what day our daughter would be home, how many days a week she'd be home. So it's just this constant unknown. And the funny thing is, we're going to record this episode weeks ago, and we're going to talk about the strike and how it's a challenge. And it was a big one right now in our household. And then we're like, well, what if we record it and then it's actually over? Fun fact, not over. But they did put a pause on the rotating strikes for this moment, and it's going to be starting back up very soon if nothing gets reached. However, the unknown, because as parents, there's just struggles and challenge. Like I said, in anybody's life, there's unknowns. We can't control the outcome. We can't control our circumstances. So it's figuring out how we can take care of ourselves to best work through these things that come in. And it's really just getting grounded and being present. And that's one of the things with you, saying what is off balance? We talked about this a long time ago with the chair, the balance of chairs. Yeah. And I have a self-care tree, which has 8 different categories.
Yes.
So it's the same thing that you're talking about. You just had to be told by somebody else how to do it. You were reminded.
Yes.
By this.
I needed to talk out with somebody who could sort of sit down and sort of help me start those lists.
So life is a balance, right? And I find it funny actually. Sometimes we're just going through life and it just feels good. I felt it with us. Things were running smooth. Our relationship felt really good and strong and clear. We can communicate and really feel in tune with each other. I didn't have to say anything. You could tell just by things and saying, we were in this flow. And just one little thing can really throw us off kilter. Mm-hmm. And that's when we have to take a step back. A lot of the time, which we are actually guilty of doing this, we push through. We don't pause when something comes up. You took that pause and be like, what are all my focuses and what do I need to do? Mm-hmm. So a lot of the time though, we push through, and we were pushing through, and to the point where I had a breakdown and I was like, I can't focus. I can't function like this anymore. And then that's when you set back and you're like, okay, what can I do? And I went back on my own and got more grounded, because I was like, I just wasn't, we hit that break point. Now, I don't like hitting the break point. I like to catch myself before the break point, but that didn't happen this time. But yeah, so a lot of people, we just push through. It's like, okay, I'm just, you push through the suffering, you push through the challenge without getting grounded in who you are or what's going on, and noticing what is off balance or where your focus needs to be. For us, we were focusing on, just I don't want to say surviving, because that was definitely when Jaden wasn't sleeping. That was our surviving. But how are we going to get our to-do list done?
Yeah.
And that was it. We didn't think about like taking care of each other. We were just focusing like, how can we all get our things on our to-do list done and still have our daughter home with the strike, and just different things like that, instead of sitting back and be like, sometimes less is more, doing less and receiving more kind of thing. So it's in that panic and that fear that we can make those kind of poor decisions. Like we've made a couple, like I've definitely made a couple, I shouldn't say we, I definitely have made a couple recently that I didn't listen to my intuition when I knew we shouldn't have hired a certain person.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you're in that crazy chaos and challenges are getting the best of you, your intuition can get buried. Right. So what we did recently, this past week actually, after I completely was done, I had I just had a breakdown, and I was like, well, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I want to feel better than this. So in that, we both went our separate ways for a little bit and got clear on what that looked like. Mm-hmm. And it really is to just listen from within. And then also that listening from within actually helps bring those resources. Makes you pause enough to be like, I need help, or I need to ask somebody, reaching out to people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, but it's just so funny. Like, you can be just flowing, going with life. Life is, feeling good. Like, yes, challenges pop up, but when they pop up, you can you're like, okay, you can problem solve them. But then there's challenges that wipe you on your butt because you keep moving forward and pushing against the flow of life, which we had happen.
Yeah. Or there's there's also the build up, right? Like it's not just one. It could be the big kinds of challenges that really throw you for a loop, or it could be like a build up of a bunch of smaller challenges, right? That's why I don't like lists, because I look at them. That's why I look at them as this thing, this all these little. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. It's all these little things that I'm like, that don't necessarily bring me joy all the time, right? Some of them, and then just adding to the list. But
here's a fun thing: you can have a master list that you never look at until you pick the 3 things you want to if you get done this week, yay! Yeah, you don't have to. You can't conquer a whole to-do list in a week unless you plan that list out for that week only. Yeah. So I sometimes in my calendar, I actually have my month focus. And then sometimes I have an ongoing list of things that are getting done. Now, sometimes we have deadlines. Now, obviously, a lot of the deadlines we put on ourselves, unless they're work related. Then they're they're not always on ourselves. Yeah. But I think a lot of the things that we have right now that we're putting on, we're all on ourselves. Yes, there's outside circumstances that we want to have certain things done at a certain time, but we chose those dates. We chose to get things done at a certain time. So it's not about perfection. Remember, we've talked about this before too, where it's do your best. So on days that you have lots of energy and you're feeling good, you're going to be upping it and you're going to do your best. And another day, one day I just had a nap that I was not feeling good. So I rested. And it's just loving yourself through this journey of knowing that life's a balance, that challenges and struggles will happen. And it's just loving your way through them, and don't get too overwhelmed about your to-do list. If you do, I have lots of tips about that too. Sticky notes. Just write down the things you want to get done in order of priority. So start at the top and work your way down. And as you do one, you take one off. And all you're doing is focusing on one thing. You just need to take about 10 to 15 minutes and write it down. At the beginning of the day. I love planning my day the night before. Because when I'm not the morning person. And then I get lost in the planning in the morning. I can waste a whole day. Mm. But if I plan for 5-10 minutes at the end of the day, I actually will be I'll wake up and be okay, what was I planning on doing? And I'll just do it. And I conquer the day with so much love and awesomeness. I also don't do it every day anymore. You can waste a lot of time planning. Mm. So I actually do it once a week. I sit down on the weekend and I plan my next week. Sometimes I overplan, still learning, but a lot of the time I actually know what I can fit in a day. Also, we have to be mindful of things that pop up, like life, teacher strike, sicknesses, just so many different things. Life happens. We can't just have this crystal clear plan. You have to have, I've learned the hard way that your plan needs to be flexible, especially as a parent. And when you know that you need to be flexible, or, love yourself and realize that flexibility is a part of life, you can go with the flow a lot more. And then those challenges and struggles might not impact you as much as well. So how are you feeling?
Good. Much, I'm feeling much better overall dealing with challenges. And part of it for me is the challenge is there's unknowns around. Like sometimes there's unknowns around a challenge. Like you're presented with something and something maybe big, something maybe small, and there's all these unknowns are related to it. And you're like, well, how do I problem solve my way through this if there's a bunch of unknowns?
This is your programming mind taking over.
Totally, absolutely. So what I've started to do is I look, I go back to that list and then you break it down, and then you look at that challenge. And you're like, okay, well, I can't do anything about the unknowns, so let's just work backwards, like breaking the challenge down into smaller things, smaller to-dos, down to the point where I do know everything I need to do for this task or whatever. And that works really, really well and helps avoid a lot of stress and anxiety about unknowns, because I don't need to worry about those right now. The answers to those things will come later after I've moved my way through the things that I do know how to do. So that's been really good. I just wanted to touch on that because you'd also mentioned about, certain unknowns happening in life.
Okay. So I actually saw this really cool thing that I think I even saw it today on Facebook, and I saved it because I really thought it was clever. Worrying is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere. I think about how much time we can worry about the outcome, worry about, are we doing it right? Are we making the right move? Are we making the right decision? We as parents, I know so many parents that, they worry if they're parenting, right. And I personally don't think there's a right way and a wrong way. It's it's leading with love. As long as you're doing things with love and you're doing it out of the best interest of your out of love and from your heart, you can't go wrong. There's so much advice out there and it's all opposites and everything like that. So worrying gets you nowhere. So what I've been doing, and I feel it's amazing. I've been following Gabby Bernstein for a while, and I read her her latest book, Super Attractor, and even one before it wasn't the last one, I don't think. But anyways, the universe has your back. So with all these changes you and I are going through, it can be really easy to let fear come in, doubt creep in. So I'm not relying on my ego to guide me, because that doesn't help. I really, meditate, get grounded, doing a lot of yoga because I'm becoming a yoga instructor. So I'm really, having that lead me. And when you open up space, that's when you can really listen from within. But the big one for me is knowing that I'm not alone. I'm not alone on this journey. I know that the universe has my back. And I've been actually really been guided from that point of view lately. And it's been really, really amazing. So when you are in a place of worry, that is knowing that your ego is taking over. When you're worrying and when you're thinking from a place of fear, you're no longer in alignment with the flow. And so it sounds easier than it is, but the more you practice, the better you get. It's like anything. We tell our kids this all the time. When they want to get something right the very first time, like riding a bike, it's it takes practice. It takes time. So like anything, things take time. So I've been doing this for months now, and it's been really incredible. So whenever I feel worried, scared, anxious, I was super, was it yesterday? Oh, was it only yesterday? It was the day before.
Yeah.
We had a buffer in there, so we didn't do a podcast right after a very emotional day. But it's allowing those emotions to come out and show us, because if we don't shine light on the emotions, they own us. So when we own our emotions, they don't no longer own us. So it's allowing them to come out and be like, okay, I feel like that. And in doing so, though, I was like, whoa, I do not want to feel like this anymore. And when you decide you don't want to feel this way anymore, you now get to choose better. So it's just knowing that you're not alone. And it's not just like, it could be God, it could be the universe, it can be, just whatever you want to call it. And like whatever people follow, like I'm not, it's very open-minded kind of thing. And it's just really incredible to know you're not alone, like from a big perspective, and then also just knowing that you don't have to go on a journey alone. So when you and I both had like those moments where we were stressed out, you reached for help. I reached for help. We did it in different ways, but we did that and we reached out for help. And it's just knowing that it's taking those steps to be supported in different ways and in different areas. And it's just honoring where you're at and who you are. So, parents have challenges too. I look back, I'm like, I feel like I never saw them much as a child, seeing your parents have, like my parents having challenges. I guess not until I got older. But anyways, so it's just amazing that, we're human. It's going to happen. We're going to have good days. We're going to have bad days. We're going to have amazing days. And we're going to have days that knock us off our feet. It's just, what is it? Get up more times than you fall down.
Yeah, there you go.
So that is parenting.
That's life.
It is. It really is. And then you throw in parenting where you have little, you have children. I shouldn't say little. We have little kids, but not everybody has little kids. But you have other people, depending on you. Okay.
I think that's a good way to end. That there are going to be challenges in life, and you are strong enough to meet those challenges if you take a step back and give yourself room. The answers will present themselves.
That really is self-love, allowing room so that you can, hear and be present with yourself and your challenges and struggles. Okay, we hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day.
Bye for now.